What elements of possible satanic abuse do you see in the John Bonet case?
Interesting question. What elements of possible satanic activity do I see in the Bonet case? I can't prove it. From the day that case broke in the news until today, I see signs of it, indications of it. The tourniquet around the little girl's neck. One of the practices that they have in their mind control activity is to take a child right up near death and then bring them back from close to death. I would suspect that that's a possibility here, that they took this child too far and the child passed away. I don't know again, but I'm saying based on my experience and expertise, good possibility of that. I'd say there's a good possibility that, in fact, I'm confident that the family knows much more than what they're telling. The fact that they were not cooperative for a number of months would indicate that. My instincts tell me that. I would have to say she was probably a victim of a pedophile operation or a pedophile ring, which dovetails into Satanism and cult activity.
I was forced to watch certain things to learn about men's behavior, whether it was, their weakness or their sexual preferences or their sexual desires, perversions, their sexual perversions. So we're not talking about regular sexual, we're talking about sexual perversions, to recognize those. And so I was forced to watch the films. And first I would see the man in the behavior, just his face, and then seeing it in the behavior, different things. And then I would need to guess based on a face what this person would do. And if I got it wrong, one thing that he did is he would just strangle me until I fainted. And in the fainting...
He would?
Yeah, he would, yeah. And in the fainting, he liked to strangle. And in the fainting, I would realize after a while that in these near-death experiences that my intuition was sharpening. And so it was punishment for not giving the right answer, but it was also part of the training to be able to get more intuitive and sense things without having to use your reason. And one thing he did was he would strangle me, but first he would say, "Was bedeutet das?" What does this mean? And he would point at his own face, and then he would strangle me. And so his face to me means being strangled, or it did. That's how the programmation worked.
And I talked about missing children and about kidnapped children. This is an article from the Reader's Digest, July 1982. 100,000 children disappear every year in America. This is the beginning of documentation that our government is involved in kidnapping children. I'm going to show you next, keep going with those, and found evidence of satanic ceremonies, found documentation that children were being kidnapped off the streets and exported and flown around the world, London, Germany, to the Far East and the Middle East. The activity of the finders had become a CIA internal matter. The Metropolitan Police Department report had been classified secret and was not available for review. I was advised that the FBI had withdrawn from the investigation several weeks prior, and that the FBI Foreign Counterintelligence Division, that's in headquarters, had directed the Metropolitan Police Department not to advise the FBI Washington Field Office, that's the investigative field office in Washington, D.C., of anything that had transpired. No further information will be available, no further action will be taken. Case closed. In researching the finders, I learned that it had been a covert CIA operation since the early 1960s. Their main mission was to kidnap and transport these children around the world.